Hey folks, and welcome into this Thirsty Thursday edition of NFL Daily. I'm your host, Cam Rogers. There's the analyst, Harris Rubenstein alongside. How are we?
Very excited for a little NFL power rankings.
Yes.
We got a great game tonight for Thursday Night Football. Got Bucks Pats. Big news. We'll break that, guys, for you during our news and notes segment. But Cam, these power rankings that our office came up with,
Unbelievable.
not happy with.
I'll tell you this much.
Not happy.
This has been the hardest week so far in terms of voting for power rankings.
I'm not mad about even the Patriots. I'm mad. I think we have teams like we have the Panthers in the top 10. This is all over. I don't get it. I don't understand what's going on here. We got a lot of stuff to go through here, Cam. We got a lot of stuff to go through.
By the way, we are completely live throughout this program here, ladies and gentlemen. We want you commenting in terms of our rankings, and now it's a two-step process. Go on to chatsports.com/rank. Put in your own rankings for the NFL Power Rankings.
I think we're going to have them on the show tomorrow?
Tomorrow. Yes, the following episode tomorrow.
Okay.
So here's the deal. You yell at us in the comments section, then you go on to chatsports.com/rank, throw in your own NFL Power Rankings.
We want to hear from you. We want to hear from you. We can only have so much. No, it's not going to be good.
Let's get into some news and notes across the National Football League, and we will start off with Cam Newton in the news, first of all, for his statements yesterday where he said it was funny to hear a female talk about route running. Now today, Dannon, the yogurt brand, has basically gonged Cam Newton from their plans in the future. Harris, your thoughts?
Why? All right. I understand what he said was offensive. I get it. He shouldn't have said what he said, and he should have apologized. But, this is not, this massive deal of, there will always be people in football. It's just, I understand what he said was wrong. This is a gross overreaction, in my opinion. Come on, people. When you outrage over everything, nothing is ridiculous. This is so small. What he said was wrong. I'm not saying what he said was right, but people have said horrible things before in the past and less things have happened. So he loses an endorsement because he said one dumb thing. Sexist and disparaging makes it sound like he basically came out and said women are stupid. But that's not what he said. And please don't take my quote out of context either. That's not what he said. That's not at all what he said. He said it trying to be funny as if random stuff. I don't like it. I think this is a gross overreaction.
Well, look, I think this is just one big PR move here, Harris.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I can imagine the executives for Dannon sitting in a meeting today and being like, look, guys, obviously this isn't a huge deal, but we have to do this.
He just, if you take a step back, he obviously meant it as if, wow, most of the time the people that are asking me questions about routes are men. It's surprising to hear a woman ask me about it, which, to be totally honest...
But the grin after, the grin...
No, okay, he was trying to... Again, I'm not endorsing what he said. What he said was dumb. He was trying to be funny. It wasn't funny, but... He wasn't saying it as if women don't know football, you're a stupid reporter.
Yes, that's
which is
true.
what people are making it out to be.
But how about that interaction after? When she tried to seek clarity and it just wasn't there.
And again, that's where I'm going to go on the side of the fact that Cam Newton is not an intelligent human being. We've never...
He's not mature.
Has any of us ever gone to Cam Newton for any sort of intellectual advice? That's not... It's please stop expecting more out of certain athletes than what's to be expected from them. I don't expect Cam Newton to be a massively intelligent human being, especially after his head basically being destroyed and turned into a melon the past 3 seasons. I don't expect him to be an intelligent person. Just stop overreacting over the smallest things, no matter how big or small this is. I'm sick of the overreactions.
By the way, no sugar added yogurt there by Dannon. Fantastic. Cam Newton was a sponsor or an endorser of that. I guess no more, but that's okay. I'll still eat the yogurt. As we move along here in the news and notes section, Davante Adams back to practice, Harris. This is a fantastic sight to see that headline right there. Amazing headline, actually.
Cam, first of all, this headline is horrible because not the headline's fine, whatever. There is no reason why Davante Adams should be practicing right now. No reason. Davante, after the hit he took, he should be getting
loses
at
the mouth guard.
A week off. I don't know if he's the one to ask me back in practice. I don't know if his team is putting him back in practice. There's no reason why Devontae Adams should be in practice right now. He suffered a massive concussion. He had to go to the hospital and get stretchered off the field, and now they're just throwing him back out there. Shouldn't he, I don't know, maybe wait a week, see if his symptoms are okay, see if he can actually maybe see straight? It's a little much for me. I think Devontae Adams should probably wait a little bit.
It really is an interesting development. Of course, on the other side of things, Trevathan's suspension reduced from 2 games to 1 game. We reported that on NFL Daily yesterday. By the way, it's worth mentioning as another little nugget here of information. This broke moments ago. Rob Gronkowski is out versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers tonight.
Yep.
Harris, just a cautionary move?
Absolutely. This has been what they have been doing for years with Rob Gronkowski. They will always play injuries with him unbelievably close to the chest. They won't risk it with him. There's no reason to, because we'll get this to when I talk about the power rankings.
Yep.
The month of September and October to the New England Patriots, it does not matter. It matters squat. Yeah. The numbers that matter the months that matter for the Patriots are late November, December, and January. And if you look at their months and you look at the win percentage in months, it's very clear what months they care about and what months they do not. So I understand they're holding him out. It's a Thursday night game on a short week. If this game was on a Sunday, he would probably play, blah, blah, blah. Play it safe. At this point, you're 2-2. It doesn't matter. You're going to make the playoffs anyway. Give him all the time he needs. This is what they've been doing for years. I'm not surprised. Not surprised at all.
We do have a sponsor in mybookie.ag as well. So we are presented by the #1 online sports book. Get a 100% deposit bonus on that initial deposit for up to $1,000. We're talking about free money. Use that promo code, chat.
Do you have the money on you? Can you just give it to me now?
Well, it's in my backpack, and I'm not giving it to you. But chatsports.com/bet works as well. And it's interesting. People always asking me, who should I take in this game and what have you. And, of course, you get the college games coming up, NBA, et cetera. And I'm always giving people their advice or my advice for them, and they don't know where to go. They need a destination. This is your destination.
This is it.
mybookie.ag or chatsports.com/bet. It's the #1 place. You will never go anywhere else once you find out how awesome this online sportsbook is.
I was sold. 100% deposit bonus. That's all I need. That's all I need.
So there you go. Promo code chat, so they know you came from us. As we thank you to mybookie.ag one more time, let's go to the power rankings here. You ready, buddy?
Yes, I'm pumped. Let's do it.
All right, we're going to start off with, it's them, the Cleveland Browns. DeShone Kizer has been disappointing so far this year, but what do you expect out of a rookie quarterback in a rough situation right now when you have a wide receiving core that isn't too hot? Last week, the Cleveland Browns losing to the Bengals 31-7. They're 26th in total offense, 16th in total defense. Now it's the clunker game. The Browns are going to take on the Jets.
Woo, best game of the year, man. I love it. It's sad to see the Browns down here, but, man, people are getting on DeShone Kizer so much for what's been going on this season with the Browns. It's not his fault that they're this bad. It's Hugh Jackson's fault for the Browns being this bad because they're putting so much reliance, on DeShone Kizer to be good, and I don't think it's very fair.
Look, the Cleveland Browns seem to be sticking there at number 32 for quite some time. I don't expect them moving anytime soon. Although this team can help them. The San Francisco 49ers checking in at number 31. Brian Hoyer, ladies and gentlemen. Woo-hoo! What a quarterback. Huh?
I gotta love Brian Hoyer. The classic journeyman, need a tank quarterback. Brian Hoyer's been awful. But I gotta say, I think this 49ers team deserves at least one win. They've actually been pretty good in a couple of the games that they've played this weekend. Unfortunate loss again for them in the last minute against the Arizona Cardinals. But go 49ers. Your defense is getting better. Your offense is garbage, but it doesn't matter because when you get Lamar Jackson next year, you'll be just fine.
By the way, another puker this week. The Niners are taking on the Colts in Indianapolis, so yikes. There's the Niners at number 31 in our power rankings as we take a look at the New York Football Giants. They have fallen from grace.
G-Man.
Unbelievable. At number 30 now, they're 0-4. One team in NFL history has started 0-4 and made the postseason. That'd be the '92 San Diego Chargers. Can the Giants do it
No,
this
they
year,
can't.
Harris?
I'm honestly, the biggest thing I'm surprised about with this Giants is that they're the 25th team in total defense. This is a team last year that you could have made an argument was the best defensive team in all of football.
Absolutely.
I understand their offensive line is bad. I understand that Eli Manning is garbage, coming from yours truly. But the fact that their total defense is 25th is god-awful. They have so much more talent on the defense side of the ball than they think. I got to say, Cam, I thought this when they hired him, and I think it now. Ben McAdoo was the wrong decision to be the head coach of this football team. The head coach of this football team should have been Josh McDaniels, and they didn't even interview him. It would have been the perfect fit. You bring Josh McDaniels' offense over to give Eli Manning the last couple of years. You change up the protection plan for that offensive line. You let Josh McDaniels go crazy with underneath routes with Odell Beckham Jr. and Sterling Shepard, and then you add Brandon Marshall on the outside. This was a Josh McDaniels built offense, and they gave it to Ben McAdoo, and look what happens. You now have one of the worst teams in football.
How about that total defense, too, Harris? 'Cause
Garbage.
Look, there's a lot of talent there, especially in the secondary.
Landon Collins, Janoris Jenkins. I mean, Eli Apple's been ripped to pieces this year, but they've Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. I really do think that this Giants team has been the biggest disappointment of any team in the NFL this year.
So the Giants are at 0-4. They're taking on, wait for it, the Los Angeles Chargers this weekend. What's up with these games? All the bottom feeders are playing each other.
More garbage.
The Chargers 0-4. Can we call that game, by the way, Harris, like the Eli Manning Bowl?
Yes. Oh, man.
Can
Don't
we do
even get me
that?
started on Eli Manning wussing his way out of San Diego because I don't want to play for the Chargers. Oh, go cry me a river.
What do you make of Anthony Lynn's squad right now?
I claim that this has nothing to do with Anthony Lynn, and they are currently in the middle of a big-time roster turnover. I think the defense should be a lot better, and I think the offense just needs a new direction. I mean, Melvin Gordon's been good, but for whatever reason, this team has all the talent in the world. It has so much talent on the offensive side of the ball. It has a bunch of talent on the defensive side of the ball, but for whatever reason, they just can't win games. I don't know what happened to this football team, but they just can't win.
This might be the hardest team to explain right now, especially when you look at the weapons that they have on the outside. Keenan Allen finally healthy. Hunter Henry has not been utilized so far, although he did.
I don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, he did have a touchdown catch recently.
They rather, I'm pretty sure Antonio Gates, who, again, I will say every single week, is currently playing football on two bionic legs, somehow is getting more snaps than one of the best young tight ends in the NFL. I don't understand it.
So there are the Los Angeles Chargers at number 29. By the way, we have a little new part of our graphic here. The LW means last week's ranking, so the Chargers have fallen since then. Let's move on to the Indianapolis Colts, checking in at number 28. Look, I mean, somewhat inspiring performance in that first half against Seattle, and then it just all collapsed from there.
Yeah, and look, I got to say, for coming in and, not having any time to prepare, Jacoby Brissett has been pretty good. I mean, for all you want, I don't care what it says about 31st total offense. Jacoby Brissett came in, had 2 weeks to prepare, was thrown into the starting role, and has been a league average quarterback. Jacoby Brissett has not been that bad. So at least they found their backup quarterback now for when Luck eventually comes back, and apparently he's going to start throwing this week.
Can you believe it?
He's going to start throwing. I'm so excited. But the Colts are garbage, and the Colts are not going to be a good team this year, regardless of what happens with Andrew Luck.
At this point, by the way, Harris, do they rush Luck back at 1-3?
No. A high draft pick is more valuable to this Colts team than Andrew Luck coming back in the next 3 weeks. They need a high draft pick, and they need to take a defender who isn't a random wide receiver like they drafted Philip Dorsett in the first round. Draft a defender, Colts. Do it, finally, please.
So the Colts there at number 28 in our power rankings. Let's move on here to the Chicago Bears. The big story coming out of the Windy City, of course, Mike Glennon benched, Mitch Trubisky in. He plays on Monday Night Football.
I think this is a terrible decision.
Really?
What do you gain by putting Trubisky in there? I'm sorry. Do the Bears expect to win something this year? Do they think that? I don't understand it. So now instead of having the guy that you paid $15 million guaranteed this season to start for you, now you're starting the guy who almost every NFL scout said is not ready to start right now, and you're just throwing in the mix because
I guess you have nothing to lose at this point, right? John Fox trying to save his job.
It's garbage. The reason they got Glennon, the reason they drafted Trubisky was to give Trubisky a year to learn an NFL offense and then be slotted in, not sit behind a god-awful offensive line and get destroyed for the first year of his career. What is this going to do for Mitch Trubisky? Like, it's not going to do any. I cannot see how this is going to be a positive move for him. He's going to get destroyed. Their offensive line is horrible.
Well, there's the statement from Mr. Harris Rubenstein, folks. Now we want to hear from you. Weigh in. Will Mitchell Trubisky make the Bears better? So is he a step up from Mike Glennon?
But should they even want to be better? They were doing it right.
Well, you can't just say that they have to phone it in the rest
They were
of the year.
tanking. They need to tank.
Tanking isn't actually a thing.
Cam, answer me this. What happens, let's say they go with Mike Glennon, they go 3-13, they have the number 3 overall pick. Then guess what you do? You draft Saquon Barkley. Now going into next season, you have Mitch Trubisky and Saquon Barkley. There's your offense.
I'm sorry, but John Fox does not want to lose 13 games.
John Fox should not have a coaching job right now. Man, God, this Bears, they always do things wrong. Between cutting Jay Cutler this year for no reason whatsoever, between drafting Kevin White in the first round when they needed offensive line and defensive help for years, between drafting Leonard Floyd when there were better people on the board, same thing with Kyle Fuller in a couple years. They do this all the time. It's so infuriating.
By the way, I am a student of offensive lines, Harris, and I will have to disagree. They actually have one of the better interiors in the league. They have white hair and sitting there.
And they have
long.
Josh Sitton, who's still good. But their tackles are he's going to get killed. He's going to get killed. Not to mention, one of the reasons that Glennon has been so bad this year, and then we're moving on from this because the Bears just pissed me off.
Clearly.
Their receivers are horrible. They make Mike Glennon look so bad.
What, Marcus Wheaton? Come on.
They're so bad. They drop everything. It's so frustrating.
Kendall Wright as well. So there you have it. Mitchell Trubisky on Monday Night Football against the Vikings
He's against the Vikings. He's going to get killed.
Oh, it's in Minnesota, too.
Oh, no. Oh, poor Mitch.
Serious carnage, folks.
No.
All right, here's number 26, the Miami Dolphins, the worst offensive team in terms of total yards per game. Jay Cutler, quarterback. Jay Ajayi hasn't gotten a lot of opportunity here, and they just got blown out in London.
Ajayi's knees are just a complete wreck, and guess what? This is what happens when you pay a quarterback who did nothing in the offseason, $10 million guaranteed, and expect him to lead you to the playoffs. You're going to lose to the Jets, and you're going to lose to the Saints in back-to-back weeks. And that's going to bring us to our reaction poll here. Was signing Jay Cutler a big fat mistake? Totally. Big time heart. Absolutely a humongous mistake. You're trying to tell me that Jay Cutler would run this offense better than Matt Moore, who's been in this offensive system for 3 years now and has an actual repertoire with every single receiver on the team? Like, I'm sorry, Jay Cutler is not a good quarterback. I said this when they signed him. You had all the pundits be like, oh, Jay Cutler is all this natural arm talent.
He looked great in the preseason.
Oh, he is natural arm talent. Natural arm talent means nothing when you spent the entire preseason sitting on your butt preparing to be an announcer. This would be like someone hiring Romo to lead them to the playoffs. Guess what's going to happen? He's going to get destroyed because he has been playing football for months. I'm sorry, you can't just go from sitting on your couch to playing quarterback and expect to lead someone to the playoffs over one of the best backup quarterbacks in the NFL and Matt Moore. It was a terrible decision. I said it when they did it. Bad decision.
Dolphins struggling right now. Like I said, worst team in the league in terms of offensive production. There you go. Jay Cutler, was he a mistake? Weigh in. We'll track it as we go along here in the broadcast. NFL Daily on this Thursday is presented by mybookie.ag, the #1 online sports book. Get all those picks in. The NBA is coming up, Harris. I know you're excited.
I'm very excited for the NBA season.
Place those bets on mybookie.
Oh my God. Go put money on the Boston Celtics. Go put money on the Houston Rockets. Go put money on the Oklahoma City Thunder, because at some point it's not going to be the Warriors and the Cavs, and this might just be the season.
Use promo code chat and get a 100% deposit bonus on that initial deposit for up to $1,000. I'm talking free money. You put in $500, they give you $500. It's very simple.
Free money. And guess what? You don't have to give the money back. You get it, and if you bet and you win money off it, you don't have to give it to them. You get it.
You know that saying, there's no such thing as a free lunch? Well, here's an exception, folks.
Yeah, exactly.
There you
Literally
go.
free money.
So mybookie.ag or chatsports.com/bet as we just chug along here on the power rankings. Moving on to number 25, the Cincinnati Bengals. They did work against the Cleveland Browns. Andy Dalton had an exceptional game in that one, but it is Cleveland. Cleveland's last in our rankings. But we did notch up the Bengals a little bit from 29 to 25, and they battled the Bills this week at Paul Brown Stadium. What do we think about the Bengals here, Harris? An interesting team.
The Bengals are bangling. I mean, the defense is good, and the offense has a lot to work around. I mean, the talent is on the team, but at the same time, as long as Marvin Lewis is the head coach of this team's is literally not important to anything that goes on in the NFL. As long as Marvin Lewis is the head coach, I do not care about the Bengals.
All right.
Don't care.
Not many people do right now.
Don't care.
That's for sure.
Sorry, Bengals fans. Marvin Lewis has never won a playoff game in like 13 years. Goodbye.
Number 24 here, the New York Football Jets are 2-2 and tied with the Patriots, Harris. I don't get it.
I don't understand it. They're doing it wrong. They can't even tank correctly. Bilal Powell is trying to make sure that the Jets don't end up with Sam Darnold or something. But the defense has been pretty good. I mean, the team has honestly been a pretty league average football team, but good for the Jets being 2-2. I mean, everyone thought they were going to go 0-16, but they haven't looked awful. I mean, they've been in almost every single game.
Gutsy performance last week against the Jaguars. They went into deep overtime and beat the Jaguars with, I believe, seconds left in that game. So good for them, 2-2, the Jets. We'll see if they can notch up a little further in our rankings as we go along to number 23 here. The Arizona Cardinals have a pivotal game against the Philadelphia Eagles this week. And look, ever since they lost David Johnson, they haven't been the same at all.
This is what the Cardinals do. They put up big-time stats and put up big-time yardage, but for whatever reason, they just, don't win football games.
Look at those ranks right there.
They don't win football games. This happened last year, too, where they were statistically, point differential-wise, and on paper, one of the 6 or 7 best teams in football, yet they went 9-6-1 or something. This Cardinals team is such an enigma. I don't understand why they can't win football games. They arguably have as much talent as some of the best teams in the NFL, but they can't pull out W's. This has plagued them for 3 years now.
Cardinals checking in at number 23. Let's move on here to number 22. The Baltimore Ravens. They just lost a big one against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they're sitting at 2-2. I mean, the season isn't over right now, but they have dealt with a rash of injuries, Harris. It's been really the bad luck bug for them.
It's injuries this year and last year, and I'm sorry, Cam, but they're 30th because Joe Flacco's been bad. I want Joe Flacco to be better. He's a very nice person. He's a beautiful
Good
family,
morals.
Great guy. But this Ravens team is just bad. And honestly, it goes back to my theory about all athletes, Cam. When your back goes, it's gone. Joe Flacco's been having back problems for 2 years now. When Tiger started having back problems, he was gone. When Gronkowski started having back problems, he started missing games. Clayton Kershaw's been having back problems for the past 3 years, and guess what? He hasn't done anything too, and same thing with Tony Romo. In sports, once your back goes, you're done. And I really think that Joe Flacco's back is what is plaguing him right now. I don't think he's healthy at all. He doesn't look healthy.
As we show you that way in there, what's wrong with Joe Flacco?
He can't go deep.
There's no denying the fact that the Ravens go as far as Joe Flacco can take them, and right now he is not playing well at all at the quarterback position. And for somebody who recently won Super Bowl MVP, it's tough to see there with Joe Flacco. We'll see if he can bounce back as we check in with number 21, the New Orleans Saints. A nice victory against the Dolphins in London. They also took down the Carolina Panthers, so 2-2 as they stand right now. Not too bad.
Again, another team. This is just the most typical team in the NFL, and it comes there's so many teams in the NFL that are unpredictable, but there are way more many teams that are predictable. And the Saints team is incredibly predictable. Oh, they're great on offense. Oh, they suck at defense. Oh, they're gonna go 7-9 and end up with the 14th pick. Great, good for you, Saints. Again, another team that as long as their defense is garbage, they don't matter. They don't matter. They don't matter.
7th in total offense are the Saints. They're on a bye this week, so an early bye for them. Let's move on to number 20, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Try figuring out this team, ladies and gentlemen. They go into MetLife Stadium and lose, and that was after crushing the Baltimore Ravens in London.
This team reminds me of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year, where the Buccaneers finally got all of that talent and then kind of woke up and were like, oh, we're still crazy volatile, but we have a lot of talent and we can finally win games. They are currently the 2016 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, and we see what's happening with the Bucs this year, that they're still very volatile. So I think the Jaguars are kind of going through that same thing where all the talent is there. It's just not quite clicking over a full 60 minutes yet.
Tennessee Titans falling big time. They're at number 19 now.
Wow.
And then that was after a thrashing against Houston.
They got roasted. What was it, like 57-14 or something?
It was rough.
They got absolutely annihilated. Just nothing was working. Nothing was happening. Mariota got hurt. Matt Castle came in. And ready for this, Cam? His quarterback rating was 3.8. You could throw the ball into the stands 5 consecutive times, and your quarterback rating would be higher than a 3.8.
Is that right?
It's right. It's completely 100%. He was so bad in this. Like, it was one of the worst quarterback performances in history. It was awful. It was garbage. This Titans team needs Marcus Mariota, but the AFC South, very much up for grabs right now.
No doubt about that. How about the AFC West here? The Oakland Raiders, they're at number 18. No Derek Carr for the foreseeable future, 2 to 6 weeks with a back injury. So insert EJ Manuel. Look, the reality is, Harris, they weren't that great with Carr. Now they got Manuel.
I don't even think it was that they weren't that great. I think their offense sputtered a little bit when Michael Crabtree went down. I also think it's because Marshawn Lynch just has not been what we thought he was going to be. I thought he was going to be a touchdown machine, and they were like Jalen Richard and I forget their other running back that they have on the team, really dominate inside the 20s.
Yep.
Yeah, and I thought they were going to be able to dominate inside the 20s. But they've been giving the ball to Marshawn Lynch a lot, and he has not been effective. I thought he was going to be kind of a LeGarrette Blount where they do a lot of red zone stuff with him. But they have a big game coming up against the Ravens. EJ Manuel, now the leader of that team. He looked okay against Denver, but it's now up to this defense. That Oakland Raiders defense needs to start forcing more turnovers.
Oakland Raiders at 2-2. We'll see if they can tread water right now with EJ Manuel. Let's go to number 17. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, talking about big games. They have a huge one tonight at Raymond James Stadium. Let's face it, this is their Super Bowl now.
This is
against the Patriots.
This is a big time game for the Buccaneers. They either move to 3-1 or they go back down to 2-2. You're just not going to be able to convince me that the Buccaneers are going to be able to win this game.
A lot of injuries on defense.
A lot of injuries on defense. They're out Quan Alexander. They're out Levante David. They're out TJ Ward. Chris Conte is starting at safety, one of the worst players in the NFL. It just, great. They beat the Giants last week by 2 points at home. And if they put up the same performance against this Patriots team, they're going to get absolutely killed. I understand that the Pats defense has not been good, but eventually they're going to figure it out. But also remember, they're going up against probably the best offense in football. So, it's the big game for the Bucs. We're going to see if they're fakers or I guess it's contenders or pretenders.
By the way, when you want to play and compete against the Patriots, you need a good kicker. Nick Folk last week was not very good.
Nick Folk is garbage.
Not
Nick Folk
very
is
good.
Awful.
So,
I think of Roberto Aguirre might have actually been better than Nick Folk. But
there you go.
That's just me.
Minnesota Vikings here at number 16. They are right in the middle. So the Vikings are going to play Mitchell Trubisky and the Bears on Monday Night Football. So we can probably expect that they're going to move up a little bit, but they went down a little after their loss to the Lions. Complete
and utter enigma now that Dalvin Cook is not going to be carrying the ball for this team. He made up for so much stuff with this Vikings team in terms of offensive efficiency. Now they're going to have to start Latavius Murray, who's been statistically one of the least efficient running backs in the NFL the past couple of years. He's a great red zone guy, but in between the 20s, he's not great. So they're going to have to lean a lot on Jerick McKinnon. They're going to have to lean a lot on Latavius Murray. They don't really, Stephon Diggs has been great, but Sam Bradford needs to come back, and he needs to come back right now. Because losing 14-7 against the Lions, who, by the way, we'll talk about later, another enigma of a football team. This Viking team needs to ramp up before the Lions and the Packers get too far ahead of them.
Houston Texans made a big-time statement last week against the Tennessee Titans, absolutely throttling them. How about Deshaun Watson?
Deshaun Watson.
Meant for prime time, man. I'm telling you.
It's look, again, it goes back to what I said before. You want to talk about, arm strength and quarterback tools and sometimes,
look how that's worked for Glennon.
Sometimes people are just good quarterbacks. Sometimes people just know. Sometimes QBs just know how to win games. And they know how to put up statistics, and that's what Deshaun Watson was in college, and that's what he's been so far in the NFL. Sure, he makes mistakes, but guess what? You can build an offense around him and accent his strengths, just like what the Cowboys when Dak Prescott started last year. change their offense to work around Dak Prescott instead of making Dak Prescott work for their offense. You can build to Deshaun Watson's strengths, and that is exactly what Bill O'Brien has been doing. Short crossing routes, fast passes, get the ball out quick, and then take shots deep downfield with play action. That is what Deshaun Watson did well in college, and the Texans are doing that now. He can be an NFL quarterback. Just build your offense around him. Don't ask him to fill a role in an offense. He'll be fine.
Speaking of Dak Prescott, we have the Dallas Cowboys in at number 14, coming off a pretty tough loss against the Los Angeles Rams at AT&T Stadium. You know how Dallas can be, Harris? Are the signs a-ringing right now that there are concerns?
Not only did the Rams win that game, I thought the Cowboys just lost it. Look, you can't lose to the Rams at home. I understand the Rams are a good football team. This is coming from the guy who's been banging the Rams drums all year long. Go Rams, go Rams. You cannot lose this game if you're the Cowboys. You cannot lose. This is a home in-conference game, and they lost. At least when the Patriots lost at home, they lost to the Panthers, an out-of-conference game, which doesn't matter at all. But the Cowboys lose an in-conference game against a team that's going to be in the playoff race. So now this is a huge game for tiebreakers. So let's say we go down the line. Both the Cowboys and the Rams are 10-6, fighting for that number one wild card spot. The second team has to play on the road. Guess what? All of a sudden, the Dallas Cowboys are playing a road playoff game in the wild card weekend because they lost at home to the Rams. That's a bad loss, and it might come back to bite them in a big-time way.
What a game, though, this week against the Packers. That is the Joe Buck, Troy Aikman game, America's Game of the Week on Fox. Looking forward to that one between the Cowboys and Green Bay.
Yep.
Let's go to number 13 here, Seattle. Are they back, Harris, finally?
No, they are not back. They only beat – I know they beat the Colts by 28 points. They beat them by 4 touchdowns, but
it was closer than that score indicates.
I got to say, the Colts – for the Colts being able to hold on in that game for that long, they should be very proud of themselves. Because again, excuse me, I'm hiccuping all over the place. The Seahawks are a troubled football team right now. The defense is good. The offense is still kind of a question mark. They lose Chris Carson, who is easily their best running back so far this year. He was a stud in preseason as well. Doug Baldwin is not having as good of a season as he's had in years past. The offensive line is really starting to affect Russell Wilson. The defense looks good, but it's a little bit more volatile than we've seen in years past. And now they have to play against the Rams. And let me tell you something, Cam. If you want to go look at interdivisional rivalries the past couple of years, the Rams have had the Seahawks numbers for about 4 years now.
Pretty crazy, huh?
Wild stuff. Even years where the Rams are going 6-10,
right,
they were still giving the Seahawks a run for their money. Now they have to go into Los Angeles and beat a team coming off of a big-time win against the Cowboys, who right now are statistically the number one offense in football. Sean McVay right now is probably the coach of the year. It's unbelievable to me. I'm all aboard this Rams bandwagon. I think the Seahawks are going to lose this game. I think they're going to lose.
The audience can't see me, but my mind has been blown.
I think they're going to lose.
The Rams are in first in offense.
I love it.
Can you believe it?
Sean McVay, he's doing exactly to Jared Goff what he did to Kirk Cousins. He's turning Sammy Watkins around. He's turning that whole offense around. Cooper Kupp has been great. Do you know what they need next? Now all the Rams need is a tight end to fill that Vernon Davis role that he had with the Redskins.
They have some youngsters there. We'll see if they can develop. Let's go to number 12 here, the Washington Redskins.
Speaking of the Redskins.
Look, they had a fantastic performance against the Raiders. Those are the highlights right there. They had a valiant effort against the Chiefs.
They looked good. They looked good. To be totally honest, they probably should have won that game.
They played well enough to win.
They really should. They did play well enough to win. They didn't lose that game. I think the Chiefs kind of won it. I'm very impressed by how well the Redskins have played so far this year.
How about that defense, too?
The defense been great. Jonathan Allen, Kendall Fuller.
Brown there at linebacker.
Zach Brown, who moved over there for Buffalo. You're right. And then off the edge with Ryan Kerrigan. I mean, this is a good football team. This is a young, aggressive defense. And the offense, despite the fact that the entire receiving corps turned over, Terrell Pryor looked good finally against the Chiefs. With Pierre Garçon gone, they need a couple guys to stand up. Jamison Crowder's looked really good. Vernon Davis has looked like a man reborn this year. Obviously, a Terp,
yes.
Big-time Vernon Davis guy over here as well. I'm all aboard this Redskins team. I think if they can the problem with the Redskins team, they've never been able to get over that hump of being a league average team record-wise. Last year, they were, 9-7-1? No, they were 8-7-1. And the year before that, they were 9-7. They could just never get over that league average hump. So I think they need to do that this year and kind of go on a 3 to 4 game winning streak and really get ahead of that winning percentage.
We'll see if they can move along here with that Josh Norman injury. They are on a bye this week, so that helps his recovery process.
Yep, absolutely.
To number 10, Harris. I'll take this one. You can just kind of cry as or excuse me, to number 11 here.
All right, I understand
Patriots.
The defense has been bad. I get it. But this happens all the time. Have we not learned anything from the past 8 years of Patriots football that, they'll struggle a little bit in September, they won't have many convincing wins, and then the calendar turns to November and nothing matters anymore? Great, they're at 11. We're 4 games in. It doesn't matter. All right, I got a winning percentage for you thing. Ready? I know in Bill Belichick's career, winning percentage in September in the 620s. Winning percentage in November in the 680s. Winning percentage in November in the 780s. And winning percentage in December in the 840s. September does not matter. September has never mattered to the New England Patriots because every single year, they always ramp it up in November and December. They can be 11 right now for all they want. I don't care. But people are acting like this is the end of days. Tom Brady's putting up maybe his best season ever, and people acting like this is a bad team. The defense will get it together. There are a lot of new faces. They've had worse defenses than this. Fun fact. They will be just fine. This is still a playoff team. People, again, overreaction central. People got to chill.
This is certainly a point of contention, and that's why we have the weigh-in. Should the Patriots be ranked higher? They are at number 11. My apologies, I said 10 earlier. So they're outside the top 10 for the first time that I can remember in a long time.
I understand the defense has been. I'm not saying the defense is good. The defense has been awful. Stephon Gilmore has thrown a big-time miscommunication factor into the back end of that secondary, but we can't sit here and pretend like they don't have a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball. If it's currently that the players are just underperforming, you have to think that Devin McCourty is going to go back to all-pro level. You have to think that Donta Hightower, when he gets healthy, will be back at the all-pro level. Trey Flowers is one of the best pass rushers in the NFL last year. He's still been good. They still have Deatrich Wise, who's been one of the best pass rushers in the NFL this year. Do people really think they're not going to turn it around? This is the thing. They've had worse defenses.
We're in the now, Harris. We're thinking in the now.
Don't give me in the now. It happens every year. They struggle with the first 4 or 5 games, and then it's over once they start playing games in Gillette Stadium when it gets cold. Every single year this happens. Every single year. I'm not worried.
Let's get into the top 10 here. How about the L.A. Rams? Harris, you were just singing the praises for Sean McVay. What a job Jared Goff and Todd Gurley have been doing so far. Really a fantastic offense to this point. Beat the Cowboys in Dallas, which was a huge win for that franchise, and now they take on the Seahawks.
And you're right, that is a huge win for this Los Angeles football team to go into Dallas on national television and beat them at home. That is a huge win for the momentum and the mentality of this football team. Now, they have them at 27th in total defense right now in terms of yardage. Totally understand. In terms of yardage, they haven't been great. In terms of points let up, they are towards the bottom of the NFL. But I trust that a Wade Phillips defense is going to be able to turn around. I really do. And if the offense can stay where it is, imagine how good this team is if they're 17th or 18th in total defense. They're going to end up being 10-6 or 11-5.
I think they'll only get better on D.
Exactly. They're not going to get worse on offense unless someone gets hurt. They're only going to get better on defense. This team is not going away. This Rams team is here to say. I said it at the start of the season that this was my dark horse playoff contender because Goff is not as bad as he was last year. Their offense was overly complex. Sean McVay comes in, simplifies everything. They add Sammy Watkins. Todd Gurley's healthy. The offensive line is better. It's amazing what happens when you have a legitimate offensive mind back there instead of Jeff Fisher's son.
Jeff Fisher.
Jeff Fisher's son ran one of the worst offenses in the NFL last year. Sean McVay bringing one of the best offensive systems in football, one of the best coaching hires in the past 5 years. Good for the Rams.
So there you go. Rams at number 10. Inside the top 10, we have the Detroit Lions there at number 9, coming off a scrappy victory against the Minnesota Vikings, 14-7. What do we think about this team?
I don't understand this football team at all. I don't think this team is good. I don't get it. Like, they're 24th in total offense. They're 15th in total defense. They don't have any, like, crazy blowout wins. The closest thing they got to a big-time win was they almost beat the Falcons, but they still lost. Like, they're 3-1 by the skin of their teeth. Like, I don't get it. I don't think they're very good. Like, their offense is okay. They still can't really run the ball. Their defense doesn't have any big-time playmakers on it. Like, this smells like a team that's going to fall in the second half. Like, it sounds like it's just going to die. Like, I'm not crazy on this Lions team. I need to see it more.
By the way, Rick in the comments section asking, where the heck are the Panthers? Here you go, Rick. At number 8, the Carolina Panthers, led by Cam Newton, who clearly needs to be on a 10-second time delay with his words, but I digress. He is indeed playing well on the field. Cam, sorry, buddy, it's the truth. Well, they just beat the Patriots.
From one Cam to another, that's some pretty good advice.
Us Cams got to, call each other out.
Again, look, big-time win for them in New England, putting up 33 points and winning at Gillette. But I'll put it this way. I don't necessarily think this is a top 10 football team. I think think about it. Last week, they were number 19 on our power rankings. And they jump up 11 spots because they took advantage of a very bad Patriots defense. I mean, they lost to the Saints at home. They beat the Bills 9-3, and they beat the 49ers 23-3. I don't think this is a top 10 football team. I don't. Like, they had a big time win. Good for them. I think they should be a little bit farther down, but we base a lot of our power rankings off of record. I think the Panthers are a little bit too high.
So they actually jumped from number 19. I'll have to agree with you that they will
big
probably
jump.
fall back down. But
they
for now,
only won by 3 points. It's not like they put up some drastic win. They won on a last-second field goal. I don't know if that's worthy of jumping up 11 spots. I think they're too high.
Let's go to number 7 in our rankings. Bills Mafia, rejoice. You are the 7th best team in the NFL right now. Can you believe it? They knocked off the Denver Broncos at the Ralph. They then knock off the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. That defense is legit. They play ball control on offense, Harris. Watch out.
Again, another head coach who I told people was going to be really good. Sean McDermott turned the Carolina Panthers team, not the defense, the team around. He was one of the best coordinators in all of football. That defense was great because Sean McDermott made that defense great. And it is no surprise to me that the Buffalo Bills defense is one of the best in the NFL because Sean McDermott is one of the best defensive minds that we have in football. I mentioned the Panthers, that they didn't have a big convincing win. 2 back-to-back wins against probable playoff teams for the Bills.
Talk about a resume.
At home and on the road.
Right.
At home, 2 wins. All right, you get the Ralph advantage. Winning in Atlanta is absolutely outrageous to me. What a crazy win for the Bills to come over. And then we have a weigh-in. Is the Patriots reign in the AFC over?
Is it, Harris? Is the tide shifting?
Cam, until the Jets and the Bills can prove that they can actually beat the Patriots head-to-head, until then, I'm not convinced. That's the thing that always comes down with the AFC East when 2nd, 3rd, and 4th after the Patriots. It always comes down to who has the best record inside of the AFC East. If the Bills do not beat the Patriots twice this year, they are not winning the AFC East. It's not over. It's not happening.
All right.
The Bills, they're 1 game ahead, and they haven't even played the Patriots yet. Cool your jets, people. Cool. Let's take a deep breath. Let's relax. We're 4 games into the season. We still have 3/4 of the season to go.
Hey, Jason in the comments section saying these rankings are atrocious. We challenge you to go to chatsports.com/rank. Throw us your own rankings, and then we'll be tracking those, and we'll be tracking the fan votes as we go along here. There is the graphic to let you know. Chatsports.com/rank. I'm looking at you, Jason. Start typing right now, my man, all right? Throw in those votes.
We're watching
and we will we'll be bringing them up in the next episode of NFL Daily tomorrow. So there you go, 6 o'clock Eastern time. Stay tuned for that as we head inside to number 6, the Denver Broncos, coming off a victory against the Oakland Raiders. And look, this is a team that loves to play great defense, especially at home. Their corners are fantastic with Harris Jr. and Aqib Talib. And they're running the football now, something they weren't doing last year.
Same thing every single year. They played 3 of their first 4 games at home, and look, they've won their 3 home games. They lost their game on the road. They're home this week against the Giants. Oh, no, excuse me, they're on a bye. Their next game is home against the Giants, and then they go at Chargers, at Chiefs, at Eagles. Guess what? The Denver Broncos, after November 5th, are no longer going to be in the top 10 of these power rankings. Because you want to know why, Cam?
Why?
The Denver Broncos are exactly who I thought they were. They will win at home because their defense plays off the crowd, and then they go on the road and they can't stop the run. This happens every single year for the past 4 years. Ever since Peyton Manning blew out his shoulder/neck, this is what the Broncos do. They win at home and they lose on the road. This plagued them last year. It plagued them the year before. Let's see the Broncos win a game on the road before we actually give them a lot of credit.
All right, so the Denver Broncos are on a bye this week, and so they sit there at 3-1. And number 6 in our power rankings, a lot of people waiting for this team, the Philadelphia Eagles. They're at number 5.
Love it.
There
Great.
you have it.
This is a good football team. The Eagles have officially, in my opinion, taken the next step. I think that number of 24th on total defense is a little bit overstated. I think that they've been giving up yards, but not a lot of points. They've also been turning the ball over on defense, which is what you want to see. I think this Eagles team is right now the best team in the NFC East. I think they're better than the Cowboys. I think they're better than the Redskins. This Eagles team is good. Carson Wentz has taken a huge step. My favorite stat, Cam, my number 1 favorite stat in the NFL right now. Before the past 2 games, the Philadelphia Eagles had not beaten another team with Carson Wentz at quarterback that had scored 20 or more points. They have now done that in back-to-back weeks. I don't care.
You love that stat.
I love it. It's a great stat. It shows that they can actually put up, do you know what it means? It means they can take a lead on offense and control the game once the other team scores a lot of points. But if you can't beat a team when they score 20 points, you're going to lose. You're going to go 10-8 over your first 18 starts if you can't beat another team that scores 20 points. But
how about Zach Ertz, by the way?
He's finally scoring. He's finally doing things. This Eagles team has taken the next step, and they should be very proud of themselves. Good for you, Eagles. Good for you.
You go, Eagles.
You go, Eagles.
You go, Glenn Coco. You go.
So proud. I'm
there
happy
you go.
The Eagles aren't garbage anymore.
The Eagles there at number 5. And as we take a pause real quick to let you know, we are indeed presented by mybookie.ag, the number 1 online sports book. So all you NFL bettors, NBA pickers, MLB playoff pickers, head on to mybookie.ag or chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code CHAT and get a 100% initial deposit bonus for up to $1,000, Harris.
$1,000. I love it. It's just free money. It's amazing. You can go off our power rankings if you want to know who to bet on, but use MyBookie. It's the best.
For example, throw in $500 on that initial deposit, you get $500 back. There's nothing better. So start picking NFL games if you haven't already. Head on to mybookie.ag. And we thank them for being along here on this NFL Daily on this Thirsty Thursday. Let's recap the power rankings so far. Here we go. Number 32, the Browns. Then you got the Niners at 31, Giants at 30, Chargers at 29. And it's pretty rough for all those teams right now. Colts at 28, Bears at 27, Dolphins at number 26, Bengals at 25. There are the Jets at 24, Cardinals at 23, Ravens at 22, and there are the Saints at 21. Jaguars at 20, inside the 20 we go, Titans at 19, Raiders at 18, Bucks play tonight at number 17, Vikings at number 16, the Texans at 15, Cowboys at 14, Seahawks at number 13. You got the Redskins at number 12, the Patriots outside the top 10 at number 11, the Rams at number 10, the Lions at number 9, Panthers at number 8, and the Bills at number 7, Broncos at number 6, and the Philadelphia Eagles, led by Carson Wentz, at number 5. Time for the top 4. Harris, are you ready?
Let's do it. Let's go. I need a little top 4 NFL teams because there's a lot of question marks for me.
Show me number 4. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Ow.
They just beat their Charm City rival, the Ravens, at Baltimore. Here you are.
I am so surprised. I thought the offense is 21st in the NFL. The defense is second. I thought that was going to be completely 100% flip, but the defense has actually been playing well. I mean, they haven't exactly played the best competition. They have played the Browns and the Ravens, two of the worst offenses in all of football. So that probably ramps up their defensive numbers a little bit. But I'll put it this way. This Steelers team, we don't know how good they are yet. Because Le'Veon Bell is still, he had a great week against the Ravens. I called it during our NFL preview that this was going to be the week where he, really showed up. But Big Ben has looked awful. Big Ben has not been good this year. I'm sorry, straight up and down. I'm sorry, Steelers fan. Big Ben has been bad. But the fact that he's been bad and you're still 3-1 through 4 games should make you pretty happy. But big game coming against the Jaguars this week. I think the Steelers team, they need to show me that, look, I'll put it this way. They need to blow someone out. And not blowing out the Ravens 26-9 against probably maybe the second or third worst offensive football, it doesn't mean a lot to me. You beat the Jaguars, you blow them out a little bit, a team who has legitimate playoff contentions, I'm going to feel a little bit better about the Steelers, but I need to see a little bit more. But I think number 4 for them for right now is correct.
Call me a conspiracy theorist, but I feel like there's some tension in the locker room with the Steelers right now. We heard about the reports with the anthems and the tensions that went along with that, and then you throw on the fact that Antonio Brown was freaking out on the sidelines against Baltimore because it was running wide open.
Yeah.
And Big Ben called him out on Pittsburgh radio.
Big Ben needs to shut his mouth. This is the second week in a row where he has pissed me off trying to be some big-time leader man, taking the moral high. Shut up, Big Ben. Do not call out Antonio Brown for complaining when you missed an easy wide-open touchdown. Do not blame him for your own indiscretions. He does this all the time. Nothing is ever Big Ben's fault. It's always everyone else's fault. Look at me trying to be the big time. Big Ben is the biggest fraud of a leader that we have seen in the NFL in a long time. This man leads nobody. I despise it when he does this. He does this every year. Shut your mouth, Big Ben, and just go actually play some good football. Your quarterback rating is disgusting.
Pittsburgh Steelers there at number 4. Here we go to number 3.
Throw to Antonio Brown.
Falcons. They just lost to the Buffalo Bills. Harris is still freaking out next to me, folks. You can't see him.
So angry.
But the Falcons here, a team that, I don't know, maybe could move up to number 2 after a couple of good weeks going forward, but that loss against the Bills,
I don't think it's too worrying of a loss. I guess I'll put it this way. Apparently the Patriots lose to the Panthers at home and they drop 9 spots. The Falcons lose to the Bills at home and they drop 1 spot. I don't really know. Shrug emoji from me. But at the same time, you shouldn't be too worried if you're a Falcons fan. The Bills came in, they had a game plan, they executed it to perfection, they got their turnovers, they came in, shocked you, and left. I think for the most part, there's nothing really to worry about in terms of this Falcons team. They're a good team. They'll be just fine. Number 3 might be a little high, coming off a loss to the Bills. I just don't really know if I'm comfortable putting the Eagles over the Falcons for the second best team in the NFC. I think the Falcons are okay here. We do have some of the comments from
Evan calling us
saying
out
that we're still hating on the Steelers. We are most certainly not hating on the Steelers. We had them at number 4. So if you think we're wrong and you think they should be 1, go to chatsports.com/ranked. I just think they could be playing better, and Big Ben needs to shut his mouth. So I'm not hating on them. They're playing fine. They just
start typing, Evan.
They're number 4. What do you want from us?
Chatsports.com/ranked.
Chiefs.
Get those votes in.
Not better than the Falcons. Come on. Number 4, it's a good spot for them. They're the second best team in the
Steelers
AFC.
fans are so needy.
I don't get it.
So
what else do you want from us? They're the number 2 team in the AFC.
All right.
I don't get it.
Let's go to number 2 here. The Green Bay Packers can really cement themselves if they beat the Cowboys in Dallas this week, Harris.
And again, I don't understand this Packers team. This Packers team is a big old enigma to me because they've beaten bad-ish teams, but I have not yet been inspired by anyone on the Packers besides Aaron Rodgers. Because like I said in the beginning of the season, Aaron Rodgers is on the warpath, and Aaron Rodgers is going to single-handedly get a very bad roster to the postseason. This, in my opinion, is one of the worst rosters that the Packers have had. I don't think they're very good. I think this Packers team is super average. I'm not a big-time fan of this Packers team, but at the same time, they're winning their football games. They beat the Seahawks, they beat the Bengals, they beat the Bears, but losing to the Falcons on the road is probably the big question mark for me with this team right now. Can they beat good teams? But for my opinion, I don't know. I'm a little bit wary of what this Packers team is going to do against good teams We'll see him big-time game at Dallas this week. I'm a little wary.
Little mini bye for the Packers after playing on Thursday Night Football. Some more preparation for the Cowboys this week. Okay, Harris, here we go.
Here we go.
The number 1 team in the National Football League right now is the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, look, they're undefeated.
Could it be anyone else? Could it be anyone else?
I mean, it wouldn't make sense to put them any lower, right?
Yeah, and I'll put it this way. Chiefs fans can get in my mentions right now at Sportstein, SPORTSTEIN. I forgot my own Twitter handle. I don't care what this Chiefs team does in the regular season. I'll say that right now. I don't care how good their offense looks. I don't care how good Kareem Hunt is. I don't care what Alex Smith's completion percentage is. I do not care. You know what I care about, Cam? I care about them scoring touchdowns in the playoffs.
Okay.
I care about them winning home playoff games against inferior Steelers teams. I care about Andy Reid having good clock management in the playoffs. They could go 16-0 in the regular season. I don't care. I do not care how good this Kansas City Chiefs team does until they actually win a playoff game. They did this last year. They were great in the regular season. Travis Kelce was a breakout star. Tyreek Hill looked great. Oh, look how fast and look how great the Chiefs are. They didn't score a touchdown in a home playoff game against a very bad Steelers team. I'm sorry. I am not convinced by this Chiefs team yet. Win a playoff game and I will be sold.
Will a victory in Houston move the needle at all for you?
No, great. They'll beat the Texans. Mazel tov.
Sunday Night Football.
Come on. Oh, come on. Look, this Chiefs team, who's I'm trying to make, oh yeah. This Chiefs team are the Boston Red Sox. Can't tell you how many times the Boston Red Sox will have they'll be the best team in the American League going to the playoffs, and they'll be knocked out of the first round of the playoffs. Every single time, the Chiefs will do this to people. They will trick you. They will say, oh, we're the number 1 team in the AFC. You should believe in us. And then they'll blow it in the playoffs. And you know what? Las Vegas agrees with me. Las Vegas still has the Patriots at number 1 for the Super Bowl odds at 6-1. You know what the Chiefs are? 4th. They're 4-0, and they're still 4th in Vegas odds to win the Super Bowl. You want to know why? Because Vegas does not trust them to win playoff games either, and neither do I.
Get those reactions, and we want to know, can the Chiefs win a Super Bowl?
Can the Chiefs win a playoff game?
Super Bowl, to be exact.
Even without a Super Bowl, they need to win one playoff game. Win a playoff game. You're going to have a home playoff game. Win it. Win a playoff game. Like, they can't do it. They have not won a playoff game, I don't believe, under Andy Reid yet. Have they? I don't think so. They might have won a wild card game or something. I don't know. They've been awful in the playoffs. Win a playoff game first. Then I'll consider
They did
the
make
Chiefs
it
a
to
threat.
the divisional round against the Patriots last year. So
there you go. And
there you go.
And then what happened? Oh, wait.
Not
They
too
lost.
good.
They
So,
lost.
there you go.
They lost.
By the way, we want you to send in your votes. Go
Please
on
do.
to chatsports.com/rank. We want to hear from you, and we will put together little fan power rankings there.
Yep.
So we're excited for that to be revealed tomorrow. Let's recap the whole 32 here,
Let's do
Harris.
it.
Let's start at the bottom. And look, the Cleveland Browns, a team that 0-4.
Sad face.
Major sad face.
Sad
There they
face.
are, 32. Niners at 31. Giants at 30. Chargers at number 29. Colts, Bears, Dolphins, Bengals moving up the ladder. Jets, Cardinals, Ravens, Saints. Jags, Titans, Raiders, Buccaneers. Vikings, Texans, Cowboys, Seahawks coming off that Sunday Night Football win. There are the Redskins, the Patriots, the Rams, the Lions. You got the Panthers at 8. Bills Mafia at number 7. Broncos on a bye at 6. Eagles at 5. They play the Cards this week. Steelers at 4.
Zoom
tight.
Thank you.
Falcons at 3. Packers at 2. Chiefs at number 1. And there you have it, the Week 5 power rankings here on NFL Daily. Harris was pretty pumped up today.
I've been waiting to talk about these power rankings all week. The top 12 right now is absolute madness, but I think we did good.
Once again, many thanks to mybookie.ag. Use promo code CHAT to get a 100% initial deposit bonus. We will see you tomorrow on NFL Daily, 6 o'clock Eastern. Take care.